Let's have a look at the 7 of 9 Classic Nude Art Deco style 1/3 scale model kit. Okay, I wanted to show this 1/3 scale Nuka-Cola girl just to show that they are both in the same scale. Now I've censored a couple of the parts on 7 of 9 simply because I don't want any algorithm giving me a hard time. I don't want some little dweeb online to try to report me for some stupid stuff. I don't want to upset the prudes, and I don't want to excite those that are more puerile than I am. As I stated in a previous movie, I grew up around 2 antique dealers. I was introduced to art at an early age. I saw brass, copper, bronze, jade, Art Deco statues everywhere. Statues, figures, figurines, lamps, sculptures. Okay, so this is what this was designed for. This is going to be a lamp. 7 of 9 is going to hold up 2 lilies. She's going to be brazed. She's going to be all done in brass. I've already started metallizing her, and you can see some of that right here. You can see a faint hint of the metallic sheen. Now you can clearly see that this has got ridges and faceting. I did this mesh in Daz Studio 3 years ago. Cleaned it up in Lightwave. At the time, this was a high poly mesh. Things have come a long way in the last 15 years. Now let's look at 7 of 9's face. You can clearly see I've been sanding on this, cleaning this up. I went over this face and head sculpt several times. Okay, I worked with the guy, Meta Artifacts, to come up with this model and this head. Then I worked with another guy to mesh the head onto the body sculpt that I did years ago. I wanted to make sure that this was as accurate to 7 of 9 as possible. And as you can see in the previous pictures, I did my research. And we went over this head several times. This is not the same head that comes with the Meta Artifacts model. This has been modified 3 or 4 times. I printed 2 different versions of this head. I really wanted to get the look of 7 of 9. Now, as you can see here, this was the first coat of primer. This was a kind of a semi-gloss gray primer. This thing here, this is where the hand was attached to the hip. I cut it off. There's still a spot for it to join to. Here's the other hand. This is going to be holding one lily. The other hand will be holding the other lily, and behind the entire sculpture will be a brass, copper, and chrome phoenix. Now, I really worked hard to get the musculature of this right. I chose a base athletic female model, and then at the time I had all the morphs where you could morph all the different body parts. Now she's slightly stronger, and her arms are bigger than what 7 of 9 looked like. I really wanted to make sure I got the rib cage, the muscles around the ribs, the breasts, the stomach muscles. I wanted them right. I wanted the arms, shoulders, and back right. And as you can see, this is going to take a lot of sanding and a lot of priming. The primer that I'm using is a metal-based primer, and once it's built up enough, it can literally be polished, and it will conduct electricity. So I will use that to submerge the whole thing in the proper chemicals and use electromagnetic brazing techniques or etching techniques, plating techniques, to do her in brass. Now I've got Nuka Girl standing there. Let me remove Nuka Girl and assemble the 7 of 9 model, and we'll show that in just a second. All right, so there she is, a very tall 7 of 9, 1/3 scale figure model, work in progress. I just realized something earlier today after going over the pictures. I'm going to have to lengthen her neck. Jerry Ryan has a long neck. Thus, so does 7 of 9. At any rate, there will be a lot more to come on this. I got to put everything away. I've got to finish up some client builds and ship some stuff out next week. That's all there is to it. So we will see this again. Now, after this video, you will see a bunch of examples of Art Deco lamps. Exactly what I was talking about. This is the kind of thing I grew up around. So I look at this as art. As I said before, I look at this as art. I don't look at this as pornography. I don't look at this as something to stimulate desire or whatever in people. I mean, artistic nudes, sculptures, paintings, sketches go back thousands of years. Anyway, there you go. More to come, as always.